الرحمن الرحيم من يريد الله به خيرا يفقهه في الدين صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمين المختار الكريم. My respected brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let us all recite Durud Pak in the holy quote of Rasul Akram sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam before we begin our today's dars together with love and respect. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Habibina wa Maulana Muhammadin ma'adin al-judi wal karam wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim salatan wa salaman alayka ya Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. So yesterday we looked at two very important elements. First of all, the moon sighting of Ramadan and certain important months of Islam, them being Wajib Kifaya, as well as we started to learn about those elements which break our fast. So far, we have learned up to if a person consumes water or any kind of food whilst he's sleeping and he was in the state of fasting, that will break the fast. सोते में अगर कोई कुछ खा पी लेता है तो उससे उसका रोज़ा टूट जाता है. One thing we need to remember here is that these things which break your fast, okay, if your fast is broken now, whether you have to do Kaza or you have to do Kaza and kafara, that is a separate discussion that we will have inshallah later on. Today there are a couple of more masail which are related to whether certain activities they break our fast or not. A ruling in regards to if a person, we are human, if a person kisses his wife or hugs her, in that scenario whether his fast remains or his fast goes. So there are two different ways, and when it comes to haqq, when it comes to learning the deen, there is no shying away, because everything you should know which is related to your deen, all the activities that we do which are related to your deen, you must know them. If you won't know, then how are you going to act upon them? So the ruling is just by kissing, whether it's makruh or not, that's a different scenario. तो कल को ऐसा ना हो कि भाई कोई भाई हम पे ये फतवा लगाए कि मौलाना तो ये सिखा रहे थे कि रोज़े में आप किस कर सकते हैं. तो the ruling is, I have to mention, whether it's makruh or not, that will come later on when we'll learn about the makruhat and dislikes of fasting. So iska aap zarur khayal rakhein. If a person kisses the wife or hugs her, just kissing and hugging does not break the fast. But because of this, if ejaculation happens, अगर इस काम से मनी निकल जाती है तो फिर उसका रोज़ा जाता रहेगा. अब वो डिलिबरेटली इसने किया तो फिर उसका हुक्म भी वही होगा कि रोज़ा जानबूझ के इसने तोड़ा है. Many times we have, and if I may say that, most of the people, they have this misunderstanding about vomiting. If I vomited, if it's mouthful, my fast is gone. The ruling is quite different to what people have in their minds. The fast will break if a person makes himself vomit, forces himself to vomit, and then he vomits mouth full, then his fast will be broken. If the vomit occurs on its own naturally, he was feeling sick and vomit happened, no matter how much he vomits, his fast does not break. So we need to remember that only if you have forced yourself to vomit and then you vomited so much that it was mouthful, not necessarily you vomited in one go and that was mouthful, you vomited in bits and putting all together it does reach to a mouthful, then roza will be gone. अगर किसी ने कै की, वॉमिट की, अगर वो वॉमिट नेचुरली हुई है तो कितनी ही वॉमिट हुई हो उससे रोज़ा नहीं जाएगा. कै करने से रोज़ा नहीं जाता है. अगर उसने अपने आप को ज़बरदस्ती फोर्स करके वॉमिट अगर किया है तो फिर वो अगर मुंह भर है तो मुंह भर कै करने से ज़बरदस्ती ये रोज़ा जाता रहेगा. Now when we vomit, what comes out? If it's something which has to do what we eat, for example food, drink, any sort of food, if that comes out when we vomit and you have forced yourself to vomit, then fast will break. If you have, suppose, cold or flu or anything like that, or heavy chest, and you are vomiting and mucus or phlegm comes out, or sort of thick saliva comes out, does not matter how much you vomit, even you have forced yourself, that will not affect your fast in any way. These are some very important rules about uh, vomiting, because most of the people, Maulana, I vomited, it's a mouthful, shall I continue or not? And many times they don't even ask, and they break their fast and continue their day as normal. This is not permissible. What is the importance of fast of Ramadan? The importance of fast of Ramadan is that Fuqaha said that if it's Muslim kingdom, and if there is a person without any valid reason eating out in public, he's eating out in public without any valid reason, so he's not ill physically, he's able to do and observe his fast, and still he's not fasting and openly he's eating, by all means, UK doesn't have Sharia law, so we can't implement these Sharia law here. The country which has Sharia law, then the ruling for that person is that person should be executed. Why? The reason is because he disrespected one of the main element of Islam, one of the pillar of Islam, which is fasting. Fasting, he was supposed to fast. Well, he didn't fast. Although he was able to observe and keep the fast, he still did not fast. And what he was doing, eating out, which means he was making fun of Islamic practices. And the person who make fun of Islamic practices, the fatwa of kufr goes on. When a Muslim commits kufr, leaves Islam, the hukm of irtidad drops on him, becomes murtad. And what is the hukm of murtad? To be executed. तो अगर कोई मुस्लिम मुल्क हो, उस मुस्लिम मुल्क में खुलेआम खाता पीता हो, तो फिर उसके लिए हुक्म ये है कि जो काजी है, काजी उसके कत्ल का हुक्म सादिर करे. अब जो हमारे मुल्कों में हमने देखा है कि दिन में भी लोग मुसलमान जो रेस्टोरेंट चलाते हैं, वो दरवाजे पे पर्दा लगा देते हैं, पर्दा लगा के वो खिलाते हैं. अब उसमें दो चीज़ें हैं. There are two elements. Back home, we have Muslim restaurant owners who keep their restaurants open, but they put parda on the door, on the entrance or gate. We can justify. How do we justify? If the restaurant is in a city, suppose, and there are musafir, travelers come and go. For a traveler, there is no fasting. So they can say that we have kept this for the traveler. If they need to eat, they can come and eat and go. Therefore, we have kept this facility open. But if you have locals coming to there and eating, this is shameful act. A, for the owner as well as for those who are going there and eating in the month of Ramadan. So if we have the habit of missing our fast, and once a person falls into this habit of not fasting, it becomes very difficult for him to restart and continue. So we should not miss our fast, and we must try and strive that we continue our fast no matter what, because a day or two might be difficult, a day or two you might find it very hard, but then once you continue, Allah will give you that sabr and patience. तो इसका एहतिमाम करना चाहिए. What I'm going to mention from here is the scenario in which only Kaza is compulsory and no kafara. What does this mean? You have certain scenario and certain situations when you have to do Kaza as well as kafara of missing or breaking the fast. What is the kafara? Yes, the kafara, the first is to free a slave. There is no slavery nowadays, so we can't free a slave. The second option for the person upon whom the kafara is, fidya and kafara are two different things. So fidya is when you can't fast and you pay £5 per fast, that's fidya. Kafara is if you have broken your fast, or if you have committed something which makes kafara, the penalty, compulsory on you, that is what we class as kafara. So the kafara, first, to free a slave, we can't do that now because there is no slavery. The second is to keep 60 consecutive fasts. 60 रोजे एक साथ रखना. And Fuqaha say that even if you miss one fast before completing 60, so suppose you did 59 and then you missed one, now you have to restart again because that's your kafara for committing certain ways and missing the fast. So 60 is done and then one qaza. So 61 rose, but 60 consecutively and one later on you can do it. One is for the fast that you missed, and 60 is missing that fast or breaking that fast the way you did. If somebody cannot do that, and majority of us will say, Maulana, we can't do it. 60 fast together, कैसे करेंगे? काम पे जाना है, घर पे बच्चों को छोड़ना है, लेना है, dropping, picking, all of these things. So the final thing, the final option, third option that Fuqaha has mentioned, they have mentioned is to feed 60 masakin 2 meals. दिन में 2 बार 60 मिस्किनों को खाना खिलाना. That's kafara of your fast. What we are going to mention here are the situation when there is only qaza. You have to do qaza and that's it. If there was a person who was doing sahri, whilst he was doing sahri, he kept eating. He did not realize that sahri time is over, and he kept eating. When he completed or stopped, he realized that the time of sahri is over and I had some food whilst fajr time has started, whilst the dawn had started. सुबह हो गई थी, dawn हो गया था, सुबह सादिक के बाद भी मैंने थोड़ा सा खा लिया है, तो अब उसके लिए हुक्म क्या है? तो उसके लिए एक हुक्म तो ये है, the first ruling is his fast is invalid now because he kept eating knowingly that he's fasting or he's going to observe the fast. He kept eating even after dawn started. So his fast is not valid anyway. Now he missed the fast. Does he have to do qaza or qaza and kafara both? So fuqaha they say that he only have to do qaza in this situation. Because what he did was thinking that he is doing within the boundaries of Sharia, time hasn't started and he kept eating. In that case, only qaza he has to do. Likewise, if somebody was in physical relation with his wife and he thought it's still night time and it was dawn time, the same rule applies. His fast is not valid, yet he only has to do, they only have to do qaza of the fast. If somebody ate by mistake or drank by mistake or did something which is against fasting by mistake, and they thought that fast is gone now, my fast is over, although the ruling, as we learned, that eating or drinking by mistake, if you don't remember that you are fasting, you completely forgot you ate or drank, and then later you realized, oh, I was fasting, and you stopped straight away. Whatever was in your mouth, was in your mouth, you spit it out. Your fast is valid. But somebody thought my fast is invalid now, and what he did, he continued eating and drinking. In that case, he does not have to pay kafara, but he will have to do qaza. I mean, one qaza of that missed fast, he will have to do it. Okay, and many more situations that folk have mentioned. Some important rulings about if there was a person who was musafir and he became muqim. So a traveler, he does not have to observe the fast. If he does, it's good. وَإِن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. But he has an option. So he chose an option not to fast. And when he returned back to his home, it was midday. Everyone was fasting, but he's musafir, he had an option not to fast. Likewise, if there is a woman who became pak during the time when it was daytime and people were fasting. A person who was ill, he got cured. Somebody was admitted in the hospital and he wasn't fasting because of his health. When he was sent back home, released from the hospital, he was fine, healthy. But when he got home, it was daytime and he can't really start his fast. For all of these people, the ruling is they should remain as if they were fasting during the day. रमज़ान की ताज़ीम करते हुए ये सारे लोग कि मुसाफिर मुकीम हो जाए, हैज़ व निफास वाली पाक हो जाए, ऐसा बंदा जो बीमार था अगर वो ठीक हो जाता है, इन सब के लिए हुक्म ये है कि ड्यूरिंग द डे ऐसे ही रहें जैसे वो रोज़े से हैं। अगर ज़रूरत पड़ती है खाएं पिएं, लेकिन छुपा कर, in front of people, all of the activities which is against fasting, it should not be done out of respect of the month of Ramadan. Yes, if the child, when the child reaches to the age of 10, if it's a boy or if it's a girl, when they reach to the age of 10, they must be told to do the fast. उनको 7 साल की उम्र से आदत डालें धीरे धीरे. When they reach to 10, they must start fasting. However, because boys usually they don't get baligh at the age of 10, therefore, if they break the fast, माँ बाप ने कहा रोज़ा रख लो, they started fasting because parents said, and during the day they broke their fast now. What parents should do? Do parents have to give kafara, or what is the ruling? The ruling is, because that child is still nabalig, there is no punishment, there is no hukm of kafara or anything for that child, not even Kaza. ठीक है? Because the child is not is not balig or under the Sharia commands. So these are some of the rules which I thought to share with you today. Inshallah, we'll continue with many other rules which are important. What I'm trying to do here is the simple ones and the ones which are most related to us in today's day and age. I'm trying to mention them. There are plenty more which I'm avoiding if they are not related to us and not related to our current day and time. If there is any question, if there is any confusion, please feel free to ask at the end of the dars or later on after the dars. Inshallah. Ta'ala. Jazakumullah. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وآله وصحبه अजमईन. मौला करीम आज की इस हमारी नशिस्त को अपनी बारगाह में कबूल फरमा, जो भी सीखा और सिखाया इसे कबूल फरमा, ईमान की सलामती अता फरमा, बीमारों को शिफा अता फरमा, हमारे आमाल खैर को अपनी बारगाह में कबूल फरमा, हम तमाम पर अपना फजल व करम फरमा, अहल व अयाल पर, हमारे वालिदैन पर अपना फजल व करम फरमा, ईमान पर जिंदा रख, ईमान पर खातिमा बिल खैर अता फरमा. सल्लल्लाहु तआला अला खैरि खल्क़िही व नूरि अर्शिही मुहम्मद व आलिहि व सहबिही अजमईन बिरहमतिका या अरहमर राहिमीन. जज़ाकुमुल्लाहु तआला.